Hello my friends, welcome to the Electric Viking. This is worth a video because this proves what I've been saying now for months. It proves what many people have been saying for months, and it proves the naysayers are wrong. In the month of August, French car sales, and you know France is not typically known as a country like Norway where electric car sales have just taken off and gone crazy. It's more of a conservative country in many ways. But its auto market is fascinating right now. Now, 20% of all cars sold in France in the month of August had plug-in capacity. So well over 10% of those, I think around about 13% were pure electric, 7% were plug-in electric, and a further 20% were hybrid. So that means that in the month of August, 40% of all cars sold in France had a battery in them of some type. The market in France, the market in Europe is changing incredibly quickly because this is more than double the number of cars that had a battery in them in the same month last year. In fact, electric vehicle sales are the highest growing by far market segment in France and the highest growing market segment in the entire country of Europe. Now remember, France is actually Europe's second largest auto market. And during that month of August, internal combustion engine vehicle sales actually dropped to 56%, with diesel vehicle sales under 20% for the first time in decades. And this is great news. As you know, if you don't already know this, diesel vehicles cause cancer. There's numerous research studies now, longitudinal studies, not ones done by people who are trying to do this to destroy the market for ICE vehicles, but just vehicle studies done on the emissions from a tailpipe that prove that diesel vehicles and actually also petrol vehicles cause cancer and a number of other diseases. Now, a year ago, the market share of pure electric vehicles in France was 5%. Now it is 12%. Now, I've been criticized in the comment sections of some of my videos saying that I'm wrong, that electric vehicles are not going to take off in the way that I say that they are. They're not going to keep doubling, which is what I've been saying will happen. Well, you were right. I was wrong. It's more than doubled. 5 versus 12. More than doubled. Now, if we double again, we're looking at what? 24% in 2022? And then what are we looking at in 2023? 48%? And then what are we looking at in 2024? 96%. It's going to happen far, far faster than the naysayers and those who are afraid of change, which is probably all of us to some degree, but those who are very afraid of change are saying it won't. And that includes, my friends, that includes Toyota. That even includes Ford. That even includes BMW. That even includes Mercedes. That includes Honda. That includes Hyundai, who are still focusing on, sadly, hydrogen cars. Yep, they are. Genesis just announced they're making a hydrogen car. Anyway, they're still focusing on pouring money into that technology. Who knows why? Now, electric vehicles did have a bit of a regression in terms of sales in the month of July, and that was due to a hangover from recent incentive changes, which I'll show you on the screen here is evident in this graph. Now, old school non-electrified powertrains had their worst month in the modern era, with diesel falling below 20% to 18%. Petrol also had its worst month ever with 38.8%. So, ICE vehicles are actually on track to drop below a 50% market share in France by the end of 2021. This may happen even quicker than what I just said, 2024. So what were the most popular EVs in France? Well, France's industry body that's responsible for publishing basic auto market data recently moved to a different group of people. Now, as part of that change, we now get much quicker and better information on the top EV models in France. And hopefully this will continue in future so that I can provide you with up-to-date and fast information. Now, this year's clear favorite electric vehicle in France is the Tesla Model 3, which was once again incredibly dominant in the rankings. This is just staggering, right? Tesla Model 3, number one in France in terms of electric vehicles. It sold more than twice as many as second place. Now, the crazy thing is, this is in spite of the fact that this vehicle is being imported from either the United States or China. Imagine how much cheaper this vehicle is going to be when it's being made at Gigafactory Berlin, using some of Tesla's newer, more efficient technology, including using Tesla's new 4680 battery cells, and also coming with lithium iron phosphate cells as well, which I highly recommend, by the way, for numerous reasons, which I have mentioned in other videos. I'll put a video link in the description, which talks about the pros and cons of lithium iron phosphate batteries versus NCA or NCM battery chemistries. So, number one, Tesla Model 3 with 2,541 sales. In second place, Renault Zoe with 1,177 sales. Third place, the Peugeot E208 with 1,033 sales. Fourth place, MG ZS EV with 659 sales. Big seller in Australia here, the MG ZS EV, and a huge success story for MG. Sixth place, Fiat 500e with 500 sales. Seventh place, the Volkswagen ID3 with 388 sales. After that, the Mini Cooper SE, 382. Next, Renault Twingo, 335. The next was Hyundai Kona with 304. And after that was the Kia e-Niro with 293. Now, it's interesting you don't see the Hyundai Ioniq 5 in these sales list. And I think you'll find the reason is because it is an excellent car, but Hyundai are just not making enough. They just don't have enough battery supply. They don't have enough ability to produce enough of these cars. I think you'll find that if there was more of these cars for sale, more of them would be selling and you'd see them on this list. Now, is this normal? It is normal. For the year, are these figures normal for these different models? Does Tesla usually lead the market? They do, in fact, in France. Overall, over the past 3 months, Tesla has sold 7,500 EVs of just the Tesla Model 3 model in France. So they lead the market. In second place, Renault Zoe with 5,600. Third place, Peugeot E208 with 3,800. Fourth is the Fiat 500e with 2,500. And fifth is the Renault Twingo with 1,721. Now, personally, I absolutely love the look of the Fiat 500e. If only the thing had more range and could charge faster. It will eventually, so that'll be cool. Now, here's what Cleantechnica says about the outlook of EVs in France. It's good to see electric vehicles bouncing back to a record share in August, following their temporary dip due to the $1,000 incentive cut from the 1st of July. Consumers are evidently catching on to the fact that beyond simply the initial outlay, the long-term running costs are strongly in their favor. And I've been saying this for a long time now. Long-term running costs, cost of ownership are much lower. As we noted in last month's report, September has historically shown a further uptick in plug-in share thanks to Tesla making its usual end-of-quarter push and helped by all new models being released into a still relatively sparse menu of electric vehicle choices. We will almost certainly see plug-ins break through the 20% line for the first time next month. There's another €1,000 electric vehicle incentive cut planned for January 2022, which will create another pull forward in December. Given that the end of the year is anyway always a peak for plug-ins, we can expect to see well over 25% share, perhaps even 30% share in December. What do you think? Genuinely, what do you think is going to happen in Europe? I believe the European market will hit 98% electric vehicles by probably 2026. So if you're in the European market, such as companies like Toyota, and you're not all EV, you're going to die very, very quickly. You can see the market is rapidly changing. This is in spite of the fact that, as Cleantechnica and many others have mentioned, there are very few EV choices right now in France. Very, very few. That number is going to dramatically increase over the next 12 months. Imagine 24 months from now when there are just a litany of EV models for sale at lower prices than they are now in France. You'll see not just France, but Europe, the entire country of Europe, and the entire world. You're going to see that EV share just rocket up. It's going to rocket up in every country around the world, but Europe and China will be first. Therefore, those countries are going to have a big advantage on countries like the United States, where they're manufacturing EVs, right? Obviously, Europe has a lot of EV manufacturers. China does as well. Big advantage to them to be having that demand in their own markets, knowing there's that demand, knowing they needed to produce cars for that demand, and that's a huge step up. Now, what are the companies that I think are going to succeed? Well, I'll tell you a few of them. BYD, NIO, XPeng, Tesla, Renault, and there's a couple of others. I've got a video coming soon on who I think is going to win this race over the next decade. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.